German Chancellor Olaf Scholz condemned Elon Musk's endorsement of Germany's AfD party ahead of the country's upcoming elections.
Thousands of protesters in Montenegro demand top security officials resign after 12 people were killed in a mass shooting.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz condemned Elon Musk's endorsement of Germany's far-right AfD party ahead of the country's upcoming elections.
Das Entscheidende ist, dass Herr Musk eine in Teilen rechtsextremistische Partei unterstützt hat und wie man sieht, ja nicht nur hierzulande in dieser Richtung agiert. Und das ist etwas, wo wir nicht nur nicht einverstanden sind, das weise ich zurück.
Scholz has largely disregarded personal criticism from Musk. The chancellor, however, is far more concerned with the US billionaire's attempt at seemingly trying to get involved in the general election. Scholz also voiced his concern over the role social media algorithms play in shaping public opinion.
Gewohnt, dass reiche Medienunternehmer anderer Meinung sind als die Sozialdemokratische Partei. Das ist nichts Neues. Neu ist sicherlich die Tatsache, dass bei Algorithmen nicht sicher ist, wie die Meinungsbildung stattfindet, die durch die Strukturen dieser Systeme organisiert wird.
Musk repeatedly backed AfD both online as well as in German media. This previously led to election interference allegations made by government officials. Austria's President Alexander van der Bellen announced he will meet with the right-wing Freedom Party's leader, Herbert Kickl, after multiple failed government coalition attempts. It comes after he met with Chancellor Karl Nehammer, who previously announced his intention to resign after failed coalition attempts between his conservative Austrian People's Party, the center-left Social Democrats, and the liberal Neos.
Bei diesen Gesprächen hat sich das Bild ergeben, dass die Stimmen innerhalb der Volkspartei, die eine Zusammenarbeit mit einer FPÖ unter Herbert Kickl ausschließen, deutlich leiser geworden sind. Das wiederum bedeutet, dass sich möglicherweise ein neuer Weg auftut, der so davor nicht existierte.
Van der Bellen said Nehammer is to remain his position until he appoints a new chancellor. Meanwhile, Austria's ruling Conservative Party nominated its General Secretary Christian Stocker to succeed Nehammer.
Thousands of people have protested in Montenegro to demand the resignations of top security officials after 12 people were killed in a mass shooting on New Year's Day. Protesters staged dual rallies in the capital Podgorica and in the central town of Cetinje, where the shooting happened. Many residents of Cetinje believe the police mishandled the situation and haven't done enough to boost security since the first massacre in August 2022.
Došli smo ovdje da tražimo odgovor zbog čega se po drugi put desio masakr na Cetinju i zbog čega niko ne odgovara, zbog čega je toliko teško podnijeti ostavku i zbog čega opet, nažalost, nećemo dobiti nikakav odgovor ko je odgovoran između stalog za.
The shooting on New Year's Day came after a bar brawl. A 45-year-old man went home to get his gun before returning to the bar and opening fire. He killed 4 people there and 8 others at various locations before killing himself. The massacre has raised questions about the readiness of state institutions to tackle the problems, including gun ownership. Police have said the shooting was impossible to predict, though the gunman, identified as Arko Martinovic, had been convicted for violent behavior and illegal weapons possession. Authorities swiftly announced a new strict gun law and other tough measures to curb illegal weapons. On Sunday, police said they raided several locations in the country and confiscated around 20 weapons, more than 500 rounds of ammunition and explosives. Prime Minister Milojko Spajic promised draconian punishment for anyone who violates the new law.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Russian forces lost up to a battalion of infantry during recent battles in the Kursk region. Speaking in an evening address on Saturday, Zelensky claimed the battalion included both North Korean soldiers and Russian paratroopers. He added the losses were predominantly during 2 days of fighting in the past week.
Головком доповів також по ситуації в Курській області, зокрема, в боях сьогодні та вчора в районі тільки одного села Махновка на Курщині російська армія втратила до батальйону піхоти північно-корейських солдатів і російських десантників. І це відчутно.
Ukrainian forces launched the unprecedented Kursk invasion in early August, achieving initial tactical success and marking the first time Russia was invaded since World War II. Heavy snow and freezing rain brought widespread disruption across Europe on Sunday, particularly in Germany, where the extreme weather caused major disruption to transport. Frankfurt Airport cancelled 120 of its 1,090 planned takeoffs and landings on Sunday, according to the Fraport press office. While at the Munich airport, only one runway was open. Authorities say they have issued black ice warnings for drivers and pedestrians, advising people to stay home where possible. The extreme weather also brought widespread disruption across the UK, leaving many key roads in the north of England and Wales unnavigable. The UK's Met Office has issued 8 weather warnings, while authorities in Ireland issued 2 weather alerts for some areas across the country following the overnight snowfalls. According to local media, up to 30,000 homes and businesses suffered power outages in Ireland as a result of the weather conditions.
The US has said that Russia is already providing military equipment and training to North Korea. In a meeting with South Korean leaders on Monday, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken expressed his concern over deepening ties between Putin and Kim Jong-un.
We have reason to believe that Moscow intends to share advanced space and satellite technology with Pyongyang, and that Putin may be close to reversing a decades-long policy by Russia and accepting DPRK's nuclear weapons program.
These comments came just hours after North Korea fired a ballistic missile into the Eastern Sea, and also at a time of political turmoil in South Korea. The country's president Yoon Suk-yeol has been impeached after his short-lived martial law decree on December the 3rd.
Korea's democracy has been tested in recent weeks, just as American democracy has faced challenges throughout our history. But you are responding by demonstrating your democratic resilience. The United States has full confidence in South Korea's institutions, and we reaffirm our unwavering support for the Korean people.
Blinken is making what is expected to be his final overseas trip in office. He is later also visiting Japan and France.
Monday marks the 4th anniversary of the 6th of January attack on the US Capitol. Hundreds of Donald Trump supporters breached the building in a bid to stop lawmakers certifying the results of the 2020 election, which saw Joe Biden win the presidency. And as lawmakers meet to repeat the process, opinion is split among Republicans over Trump's pledge to pardon all those jailed for their involvement. Trump said he would issue pardons to rioters on day 1 of his presidency, which begins on the 20th of January. Most likely I'll do it very quickly, he said on NBC's Meet the Press. More than 1,250 people pleaded guilty or have been convicted after trials in connection with the 6th of January, with more than 650 receiving prison time ranging from a few days to 22 years. Some Republicans, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, are in favor of sweeping pardons for all those convicted. I think they've served their time and I think they should all be pardoned and released from prison, she said. But others believe it's more appropriate for Trump to look at pardons on a case-by-case basis. Veteran Republican Gus Bilirakis wasn't prepared to sanction sweeping pardons. You've got to look at it individually. Some probably deserve to be pardoned, he said. But police officers who defended the Capitol are particularly incensed about the possible pardons. Many officers were beaten, some with their own weapons, as they tried to hold back the mob. About 140 officers were injured in the violence, making it what one attorney called likely the largest single-day mass assault of law enforcement in American history. House Democrats who conducted an investigation into the attack warned that the pardons could have far-reaching consequences. And Republican Benny Thompson, who led the House committee that investigated the riot, said in his report that Trump lit the fire for the insurrection.
Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni appeared on Saturday alongside Donald Trump after traveling to his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Trump and Meloni attended a screening of a documentary addressing the challenges faced by some conservative lawyers within the US legal system. The visit makes Meloni the third EU leader to meet with Trump following his re-election. It also comes as tensions escalate between Italy and Iran over an Iranian businessman arrested in Milan under a US warrant.
At least 32 dolphins have died since oil spilled out of two stricken tankers 3 weeks ago in the Kerch Strait. The waterway separates the occupied Crimean Peninsula from Russia's southern Krasnodar region. Russia's Delta Dolphin Rescue and Research Center said the deaths are most likely related to the fuel oil spill. 2 Russian oil tankers were badly damaged in a storm in the Kerch Strait in mid-December, with one vessel breaking in two. State media reported that both tankers were carrying around 62,000 barrels of oil products in total. In late December, officials said more than 3,300 tons of low-grade fuel had been spilled into the strait. Officials in Crimea declared a regional emergency on Saturday after oil was detected on the shores of Sevastopol. That came a week after a similar declaration was made in Russia's southern Krasnodar region after fuel oil began washing up there.
Euronews. The news